Hello everyone. For today's video, I thought I'd talk about more stories about LGBT-related romance. Last year I mentioned that LGBT-related romance always caught me by surprise and even confused me a little. However, here's some stuff that I didn't even mention in my Sexuality Is Multi-faceted Gemstone video last year. Mainly because I became familiar with this some months ago and have yet to be mentioned. For instance, do you remember about the story of how I took the phrase "come out of the closet" way too literally? Well, prepare for something I found even more bewildering. Those of you who watched the show Two and a Half Men, there was an episode where a main character named Charlie, Alan Harper, gets an ear piercing on his right ear. Here's the kicker: his brother Charlie, mentions it being the gay ear. After hearing that, I asked my mom what they mean by the gay ear, and she answers this by asking me, "You don't know what gay is?" I tell her I know what gay is. I don't know what ear piercing placement has to do with it. My mom then explained to me that piercings on the right ear indicate that people of LGBT have come out with their sexuality. After hearing that, it kind of made a little bit more sense, but I still got confused about it. However, I will tell you it was hilarious when their housekeeper Berta remarked on the ear piercing, "Look who's finally out of the closet." I remember establishing in the Sexuality Is a Multi-faceted Gemstone video last year, saying that marriage is part of a couple's happy ending. But here's some information I found about gay marriage. I remember coming across something saying that gay marriage wasn't completely legal in all 50 states until 2014 or 2015. Of course, on a show called Steven on a Cartoon Network called Steven Universe, had an episode called Reunited, and it had the marriage of Ruby and Sapphire. While it was a gay marriage pertaining to a lesbian wedding, Ruby was wearing a wedding dress and Sapphire was wearing a wedding tux. The attire of lesbian weddings is something I didn't quite understand until I was watching the series finale of Supergirl with my dad. The last few minutes of the episode had a lesbian wedding. Only one was wearing a wedding dress and the other was wearing a wedding tux. Confused about it, I asked my dad about it, and he told me that for lesbian weddings, one woman wears a tux and the other wears a wedding dress. I also asked my dad, "Are you sure they both don't wear wedding dresses?" Based on that, I remember seeing a couple lesbian weddings where both women wear wedding dresses. Continuing on, do you remember how I mentioned that my mom saying that homosexuality is a sin? I remember her saying that people can have homosexual tendencies, people having homosexual tendencies acceptable, as long as it stays in their head, or keep it to themselves is what I mean. I'm not saying this to look down on a specific group of people. I'm just telling you what I remember. In most of my previous videos where I mentioned the essential couple of Motherland Fort Salem, here's something that'll be a huge surprise factor. While browsing through the internet, I found out something about Rael Collar being a lesbian, even stating this to a male witch named Byron, saying she's not interested in guys. Interestingly enough, Byron also tells her he's not interested in girls. What made this surprising and bewildering was that I had no idea that it happened, nor do I even remember it. At one point I was thinking that Rael had bisexual tendencies that many of us as the audience were completely none the wiser of, until I was browsing through the internet. However, one thing's for sure, I should pay better attention when I watch something on TV or when I browse something on the internet. Speaking of bisexual, what I've noticed about Stella Ramshorn is that she is bisexual. This was weekly established in my Sexuality Is a Multi-faceted Gemstone video about a year ago. given to the fact that she'd previously dated Porter and is currently in a relationship with Rael. I mean, I'll tell you something else. It was like the first and so far only time that heterosexual relationships like surprised me more than LGBT relationships. I mean, why I say that is when I first became familiar with Motherland Fort Salem, I thought like Scylla was a lesbian like Rael, but like then I ended up finding out that she's bisexual after watching it on TV and browsing through the internet. I mean, like I said, I should pay better attention to to what I watch on TV and when I browse stuff on the internet. Well, thank you for watching, everyone. If you liked the video, press the thumbs up button and subscribe for more videos. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them in the comments section, and I'll catch you all in my next video.